make this happen. And it's set in a way that if your horse backs off, hesitates a little bit, it'll work out fine. And it's also set up a little bit. The 21 feet at the end of this is very short. So it's a line that actually encourages a horse to start with, or I should say a rider to start with more and get the horse to finish with less. So it's a great line for your animals here. Start with more, finish with less is the best way to get rid of the starting with less and finishing with more that certainly your horse wants to do anyway. All right, so good girl. It is. It's pretty. And normally I set this up in feet at 57 to 21 when we're outside. But in here, I've made it quite a bit shorter than that. So it's in here, it's 54 to 21. Keep going. Whoa. And longer again. Easy. So you can see how short that one stride is, and you can see why that exercise is actually a great exercise for you, where you are sort of, the 4 was terrific, but the 1 is very short. So, hopefully you guys take notice of that a little bit, that 1 is short. So I need you to do this last line again. This line is potentially the solution to all of your problems. Part of what we have here is a rider that's a little reluctant to ride up out of the turn enough, and the other thing that we have is an animal that wants to take over through the process. So your mule will learn to respect what you're telling it to do, because it is in her best interest to decrease through this line. Now, this is just the beginning. We can build this up as big as we need to in order to make that respect happen. This is a very, very confident, very aggressive animal, which is a little bit the opposite of Tara's horse, who's maybe just a little apprehensive and unsure. This animal is very, very self-assured. So we'll just try that again. Maybe a bit stubborn. Maybe that's where that stop at Spruce Meadows happened. Not bad. Keep going around one more time. You lost her to the right a little bit in the middle of the line. And if that happens, this is my priority thing. Straightness is priority number 1. The number of strides that you do on that line is not as high a priority. So if you end up having to do 5 in the middle of this line, it's fine. Oh, come on, voice. Voice, 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 voice. Voice is critical. One more time. There you go. That's right. That little reassuring pat of the neck is very important in trying to get rid of some of this excess energy. And lengthening the stride a little bit out of the turn. And slower. Better. Good. Good. And even keeping the body back more than that, you're using your voice, you're using your hand, and the center of balance you're not good at using. And that's something, I'm a big fan of it. I have this very basic philosophy. It makes, in my mind, everything makes sense that I teach. But using the center of balance, forward is forward, back is back. Your body is forward, and potentially that's encouraging the horse to be a little bit more forward going than what we want. Bringing the body back, and I don't think anybody would dispute that idea, that bringing the body back would be a constructive thing for you to do. Now, the one thing where we get into a little bit of dispute about is if we're trying to get a horse to go forward, should we lean forward and use our center of balance, or should we lean back so that we can drive with the seat in order to get the horse to go forward? And as I said, forward is forward in my eyes. I'm not a big driver with the seat, and not that I've seen any of you guys do that. I could see possibly you would be the one person in this group that would do that. I haven't seen you do it, but just I'm pretty observant and pick up certain things about riders. I'm not a believer in that driving seat at all. You know, if back means slow down, it can't also mean move forward. So it's just got to be crystal clear. As I say to people all the time, I always want to be able to take a photograph of you, have you look at that photograph, and be able to see that you are sending your horse the right message. And if you're leaning back, you need to know what that message is that you're sending to your horse. Back is back, forward is forward. Now, and when I say forward is forward, I don't want you to be so forward with your body that you're throwing your horse's balance off, for instance. Okay, so let's just see if we can get through this line by itself before we try to do this whole course. And I love doing courses, by the way. Obviously, you guys can see my goal is to get, hopefully all of you, down this line as well, and maybe jumping over this little course. So we'll just, ladies, we'll just cross top rail on that, drop that's right. That left side, yep, that's perfect. Right side of this one here. You'll jump over this by itself. And then around through that gap over the two of these. So you'll canter right over the top of these guys, and then all the way around and do the whole line. Now we'll just do this jump by itself, and then do the two jumps here. And so we'll just get through this line first, and then if we make it through this line, then we will go back and try to do the whole course. Yeah, so just the third part of this line by itself on an angle, and then the two parts of the in and out, and then all three parts of the line. Like I said, I think having a horse that understands a little angle, yep, that's normal enough. Absolutely fine. Don't let that worry you. Just nice and slow, nice and slow.
Keep them straight if it's on an angle.
Yeah, perfect. That's good. Just do that jump again. Just do that jump again by itself. Slower, 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 slower. Very quiet. There you go. Good. Okay, girls, move up a little bit. Come towards me. And now try both parts of the in and out. Both parts of the in and out. Around the pink oxer. Good.
Yeah, Link just wants to keep jumping on all of them.
Very quiet, very slow. Slow. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? And you see, the spook at the first part of the in and out, but by the time you land after the first part of the in and out, the horse goes, oh, I've jumped this jump, this is easy. All right, so now just do that in and out one more time for me, and then we'll try the whole line. Very slowly, very slowly. That's fine. Now the whole line. And don't let the striding be more important than the straightness and the consistency of the horse. All right, so just a nice quiet ride. Very, very quiet, very controlled. And if she stops, she stops. It's fine. Nice and slow, slowly. Yeah, magic. Absolutely magic. Isn't that great? Well, this is what I hope. And you know, so I talked with Jill last night, and she said, I live 5 minutes away. I've got a whole bunch of horses that I could bring here. Which one should I bring? I said, probably the greenest one, didn't I? I said, the greenest one, the one that has jumped the least. And certainly I would imagine this horse has never seen a line like this, but very willing, very kind. And it is just having a process that you believe in. Clearly I believe in everything that I teach. I very strongly believe in it. And having a process like this that makes it simple for the horse, digestible for the horse, you feel confident about, and that confidence is conveyed to the horse. So that was terrific. Why don't you just do this line, that line, and I'm a believer with a young horse like this, we're done. Yep, you couldn't ask her to be any better than what she has been. And the other thing that's important, like Jill would recognize, maybe you guys would recognize, I certainly recognize, that this horse, as she starts to get a little bit overwhelmed, she starts to maybe do some things. You see her starting to prop and just shut down a little bit every now and again. And maybe that's just a little bit of a reflection of some of the anxiety in her body, and what we want to do is try to make this a good positive experience for her. Easy. And back to the walk. Back to the walk. And make a huge fuss over her. Make a huge fuss over her. Tell her what a wonderful girl she is. Really, really good. Terrific. Okay. We'll see how we go. And this could be messy. If you're not crystal clear in what you're conveying to your horse, it could be messy. All right. So just this jump by itself. Maybe if you're fine the first time, then we'll carry on. But probably once or twice over it. So nice even rhythm. Very, very slow. Almost too much angle. Just go around this red vertical here. Go around the red vertical. Very slow. Very slow. There you go. Very slow. And just trot. Just slowly, 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 slowly. Yeah, good. Now both parts of it. You'll be fine. Both parts. Nice low hand. Very slowly, very slowly, very slowly. The one thing you have to make them do is stay straight, all right? And as I said, stopping is not the worst thing that can happen. Getting crooked is, all right? So, as soon as this horse starts to think that it can duck left on you, then we've got a problem. And we've got a problem. All right, so like I said, I don't care if the horse stopped that first time, but if in the process of trying to make the horse jump, you soften the hand and let the horse get crooked, we've got a problem. All right, so the other thing is, I'm sure your left rein is considerably shorter than your right rein, which when you're riding on the curve to this jump, your hands are side by side, the left rein is shorter, which means that the horse's head is turned to the inside. Then when you try to straighten up to these jumps, and your hands are still side by side, the horse is still heading off in this direction a little bit. So you're sort of leading the horse to the left a little bit. So I want you to come back, trot over this, make sure both reins are the same length, and do not let the horse run out to the left. It has to stay straight. Very slowly. Good. All right, so nice and straight now. Stay straight. Just stand right in front of the jump. Just give him a little kick with the left leg. Little kick. Good. All right. Just right back, do those two jumps again. More trot. Longer stride. Keep going. Same thing, he's not allowed to run out to the left. That left rein is shorter again. Good. Okay, now, here's the one for all the money. The whole line. Alright, canter in, and then in a perfect world, you would actually trot in the middle of that line. Nice and slow. Slower.
Oh, he's going too quick. Yeah.
Too fast. Way. You have this enormous bias that is interfering with my process. And that is that you feel like you have to tell the horse to jump the jump. You don't. Alright, so go back, do the whole line again. This is a line where the right way to do this is that you start with more and you finish with less. You cannot accelerate through the process of jumping this line. It's all about control. It is about explaining the parameters and maintaining those parameters through the whole process of the horse's career, really, not just this line. Slower, slower, slower. Yeah, terrific. Good. All right, back to the walk. Very good. Take a deep breath. Deep breath. It is easy. Yeah, it is easy. And this horse is so willing to do the right thing. Green is grass, not as well schooled as your horse, but so willing. And but you've just got to stick to those parameters a little bit better. You guys have any questions? And if you do, you're not allowed to ask them right now because I'll talk to you out there. But you guys, do you have any questions about what's happening out here? I mean, there's so much information, in such a variety. We can see the real youngster, the 4-year-old that's green as grass and doesn't have any idea what's going on. The experienced one with some biases, and the not that experienced in this, but a little bit more experienced in life, 7-year-old with some biases as well, and a rider that has some preconceived notions of how to do things that I don't entirely agree with, and you can see why. And so there must be some questions over here from you guys. Yep.
Is this the guy that I was falling asleep, but she said was like Simon Cowell?
These distances that I'm using in here are
pretty,
slightly different from what I
yeah.
normally do. The distance, of course, I do everything in feet and inches.
No criticism?
The distance that we actually have in here,
okay.
it's 54 to 21. Normally I would do this line this afternoon. I'll do this line a little bit longer, probably more like 56 to 21. But 56 or 57 to 21 feet is the distance that I normally would use. And all three of these horses, my big huge horse and my little shorter strided horse, it's a very constructive line for all three. Challenging for all three of them. Yes. And it's a hard thing. The reason that I was asking Tara to trot was, and I knew that she wouldn't, it's all trying to get her to think about trying to produce slow. So I actually never had any intentions for her to trot in the middle of this line. But if I told her to trot, I knew that I would possibly get a slower canter. Yeah. Yeah, no, the perfect thing is for this whole line to be a start with more, finish with less process. I think with that more aggressive animal, what I would be trying to do is trying to make the trot transition happen after the third element as quickly as possible. Yeah. Rather than trying to trot in the middle, what I would try to do is try to just, this is probably too complicated a line for really, yes, for a single jump like that over there. Actually, I almost should have done one other thing, and that is, I do this pole, jump, pole exercise, where the number of feet from the first pole to the jump is the same as the distance from the jump to the next pole. So it's a pole on the ground to a jump to another pole. 60 feet to 60 feet. That's normally what I would do. And the objective is, so 60 feet from the pole to the first, to the jump, and then 60 feet again to the next pole. It's a way of quantifying, by doing the same number of strides in front of the jump that you do after the jump, we now have a way of quantifying consistency through the process. Trot through the whole thing, canter through the whole thing, whatever, but just trying to produce consistency through the whole thing as much as you can. Virtually everything I do